Good afternoon to everyone. Well, I am Anshu Budhia and I will be taking up your Management Accounting, your F2 subject. And that's very interesting subject, when it's a subject that you are going to enjoy for sure. Okay. Now, I've been taking ACCA for nearly about 7 to 8 years. So that's pretty long time. Yes. And F2, then we go to F5, and then we go to P levels. So it's all the sequence that you have to follow. What I mean to say is F2 is a very base subject that has to be very much strongly laid out, strongly understood, so that when you progress ahead in your skills and your P levels, everything would be as smooth as a buttery thing. Okay. So guys, I want few things from you before we proceed for the class. Okay, these are some basic requisites that I want from everyone in the class, each and every student in the class. If and only if you want to clear your F2 in the first attempt, and secondly, if you are aiming to get at least minimum 80%, okay, or a rank in this subject. So basically, if you're aiming to get more than 80%, you have to follow exactly what I tell you. And you have to be regular in the class. So this is a basic prerequisite. Now, if you're attending first live session, that thinking that, oh, it's my first class. So it's always some sentiment is attached with the first class. So let me attend the first class. And then as the classes grow, as the classes are going on, now you feel like, oh, who will take the tension, take the pain to attend the classes regularly, as it is recordings are available. But when there is a live session, why you do not want to take the full use of it? The reason is, of course, you can have your doubts cleared at that moment of time. You don't have to wait to drop your WhatsApp and then wait for me to reply. And, till the time I don't reply, your queries would still be at that place. So why you want that time lag? Because certainly if all of you are putting up my queries, it is not possible for me to reply to you instantly, because it's not just you, there are other students as well. So of course, it's very beneficial if you attend your live sessions regularly. Then I can take that guarantee that you are going to not just clear the exam, but get super marks in it. But of course, with your efforts, with the hard work that you put in, and with the the homeworks and everything that I would be giving in, you have to complete them. So now you are hearing it correct, that you're going to get homework. First class, I don't give homeworks. First class is supposed to be that welcome to the batch class, right? So I will not give you any homeworks in the first class, but your second class onwards, you're going to get homeworks. The best part in this F2 and all these subjects are, the knowledge levels are, you don't have to write anything. You just have to, do the most MCQ questions, right? The MCQ patterns you have to do, and then there are some bigger questions. Today we're going to discuss a paper pattern also. Okay, so that's all about me and what I require from you. So I want dedication, I want efforts, I want sincerity, and I want regularity, right? And I want your dedication 100% towards the class. It's only if you want to clear the subject and you want to clear it with grade. Only if that's your requirement. If you want to maybe lag it, then it's your call. Fine. So that's at my end. So probably that's not too much what I've asked for, right? Because that's exactly what you want. Now I want some intakes from you. Why you want to go for ACCA? What's your what is your prerequisite when you're aiming for ACCA? Apart from getting a good job, or what is that requirement, or what is your intention behind it? Just pour in any of the views. Let it be very friendly class. I mean, just pour in your views. Why you want to do ACCA? Okay, so yes, very valid reasons, that because it's valid in many countries, like Sneha Singh or Pratik Arayana says, they want to work overseas. So Mohammed Saad has given me the baseline of everything. He says, ma'am, I want to earn good money. Okay, so I want to earn good money. So for that, whether I work here or where I work overseas, doesn't matter. That is the reason why I want to do ACCA. So probably what I can get is that most of you, like Tamsa also says, that you want to travel abroad, you want to earn good money. So it's valid in many countries, and of course, it is a professional degree. Most importantly, it gives you a professional, recognition. And yes, so you get honors degree also from Oxford Brookes University. Everything is absolutely correct. So everything keep kept aside. This is where you want to go. Okay, this is where you want to go. That you are looking yourself, earning money, visiting the overseas countries, doing work over there, and all this. And right now you are here. This is the gap that you have to bridge, right? Now it depends upon you how quickly you are bridging that gap. So that is quickly, I mean to say, is how quickly you're giving exams, giving exams, clearing. So then you can clear become ACC in just 3 years time also. 2 years also for many. Yeah. So if you want to reach there, if you want to have those aims that you are telling me, you got to put in your efforts from today only, boss. Okay, I don't know whether you've cleared other subjects or not, knowledge level and all, but whatever it is, you are not going to delay your preparations. Many of the students, what they do is, by the time we are complete ending a syllabus, then they open their book and suddenly realize, oh, we have an exam coming up, so now let's start studying. That's the wrong approach. If you study with the class every day, you just have to put in just half an hour to 1 hour every day. That is along with the class, and then you have to do some extra questions. So that's roughly an hour a day that you have to put in if you're going with the class. So by the time we complete our syllabus, you are going to complete your syllabus, and within a week's time, you are going to give your exams, clear it, go to the next subject. Okay, so please put in your efforts from day one only. Okay, just one more thing now. How many of you are, in your 12th or about to complete it? Just want to know. How many are still in the 12th standards and, you are about to complete it in this 6 months? Anyone is there? No one. Okay, so Priyanshu, you're in first year. Fine. Okay, so I believe then everybody is okay. So some of you are in your first year BCom. That's okay. So that means there is something that you know. No, that's okay. I don't need the second year and all. Just wanted some who are in the initial phases. That's okay. Okay, so let's get started with the subject. Everyone, management accounting. It's the core. It's the base of your performance management subject in F5. Okay, that's in your skills level. So one question that everybody asks me is, before we even go into the syllabus, they say, ma'am, it's a costing subject, no? I said, no, costing is just a part of it. So in this subject, you're not just doing costing, but you're doing some forecasting also. You're doing some budgeting also, right? So it's not just that you're focusing on cost. So do not correlate this subject as just a costing subject. Okay, it's much more than that. Fine. So let me first take you to this subject, to the exam structure, to your how does the exam questions look like. So let's quickly go through them. Have the let's grasp the paper pattern and everything, so that when you're going in the syllabus now, you will know what exactly you're going to face in the exam. Okay. And one thing, guys, just be relaxed, calm, composed in the class. You are not able to understand something or anything, probably that we are doing in the class. If anything is there that you're not able to understand, not able to, just get in here or just getting clicked, you can ask me multiple number of times. Okay. And there's absolutely I'm not that very strict teacher that, who's going to give you some harsh punishments or like that. Of course, I'm not that. Okay, so just you can ask me any number of queries, any number of times without any hesitation. I don't mind it at all. But there are two rules that you have to follow. Number one is nobody is going to be, after the class, nobody is going to be in a position where you think, oh my God, nothing went inside in my head, everything just bounced off. Nothing should bounce off. It should land here. It should not be flying over your head. Okay. Because then I gave you an option. You can ask me any number of times, but I don't want a single doubt to be lying in your head. And number two is when I ask you a question, see, because when I explained you all said, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. But when I am asking a question, I don't want to hear, no, ma'am, I don't know. No should not come then. I will not give you that leverage. If I'm asking you something, I want that answer by each and every one. Even if there are 10 students, 20 students, 30 students, or 40 students in the class. Each of you has to answer it compulsorily. So absolutely no sleeping, no yawning, nothing in the class. You have to be actively present and participative in the class. Few basic rules that I've discussed. You will say, ma'am, how many rules you have in the class? But then we got to have some rules, right? Okay, so let's get started. I'm just sharing the screen. Okay, and then you have anything anywhere to ask, you can ask me. And the mode of communication is chat box. Okay, so use that very, very oftenly. And also if I ask you something, whether it's clear or not, you can always raise your hand. Okay, you have an option of raising the hand, so just raise your hand. Your syllabus is divided into 6 parts. Number one is the nature, source, and purpose of management information. That's a very basic thing. Data analysis and statistical techniques, where we are just going to do some of the statistics, some of the forecasting, and all these methods. Cost accounting techniques. So that's where we are just going to discuss primarily about cost. Budgeting, standard costing, performance management. These are just a part. They are the different parts in which your syllabus of management accounting is divided into. Okay. Now, how, like I said, I'm giving you this again, the performance management syllabus, that is F5, that will come in your skills level, will assume that your knowledge acquired in management accounting and develops, applies this further and in greater depth. Yeah, I'll show you the syllabus again. Everybody is having this. You all have books. If you do not have books, please contact the team and get the books. Ideally, you should get physical books because then you will have the access of ebook. I'll tell you the use of that also. Okay, but let's progress it slowly. So again, I'm repeating, your syllabus is primarily, and nobody's going to write anything. Okay, whatever you have to write, I'll tell you. You don't have to write anything. We make class notes. So you would be getting those class notes from here. Okay, so no need to write anything. And as it is, you have recordings. Okay, so basically your syllabus is divided into 6 broad parts. Number one, your nature and source and purpose of management information, data analysis and statistical techniques, then cost accounting techniques, your budgeting, standard costing, performance management. These are the 6 broad categories in which your syllabus is divided into. Okay. Now, PM is a skills level that follows and that assumes that you have done MA. So the MA concepts are now going to be repeated again in PM. In fact, PM will assume that you're very thoroughly clear with MA. So it is a step ahead of MA. So if your base is not clear, you will find problems in PM. So that is why I'm again stressing on the fact that you have to ensure that your base, your concepts are absolutely crystal clear. Okay. These are the different chapters that we're going to cover one by one that are going to be covered. under this topic. Okay, so this you can go through the different top chapters which are covered in the different topics. Okay, and we're going to cover all the chapters one by one. Okay, now let me tell you, you know that your exams are going to be computer based exams. Okay, so all the foundations in accountancy, they're available for all of the foundations exams. Okay, the knowledge level exams, they are covered in CBs. CB is in your computer screen, you'll have questions, papers, a question paper in it, and you have to select the options or type in the values, whatever it is asked in the exam. We'll discuss the paper pattern. Okay. So CB exam is there for the first 7 modules. They can be taken at any time. These are referred to as exam on demand. Okay. So your F2 is basically an exam in demand. Okay. Now your the CB, how does the CBs work? The questions are displayed on the monitor, on the monitor that is on your screen. Candidates, they enter their answer directly onto the computer. You don't have to write it anywhere or just on the question. Either you will be selecting the options or you will be typing in the values. You don't have to write anything else. You just have to select the options or tick mark or basically just write the values. You don't have to write anything else. This is just how exactly your your knowledge level papers work. You will have 2 hours to complete the exams. Knowledge levels do not have 3 hours. You have 2 hours to complete your exam. Candidates sitting exams on demand. These are called as exams on demand. The reason being, you don't have particular quarters, where you have to wait and then you'll have exam dates and then you'll apply for the exam. Okay. So basically these are exams on demand. That is any time throughout the 365 days, you can apply for the exam depending upon your exam center availability and, their seating capacity. So depending upon them. Candidates sitting exams on demand are provided with a provisional result notification showing the result before leaving the examination room. Okay, so now when you're done with your exam, in your demand papers, that is this one, F1, F2, F3, F4, you will get your result then and there only. Okay, so now suppose you are appearing for F2, the moment you have submitted your exam, your result, that is whether how much percentage you have obtained or how much marks you have obtained, you will get it over there only. So then and there only. You don't have to wait for a result to come out. And that's basically a provisional result. Your final result will be given to it. But generally, there is no difference between provisional and final. It's one and the same thing. Now, CB license centers, they upload the results of ACCA as proof of the candidate's performance within 72 hours. Okay. So within 72 hours, the result will be uploaded. The candidates which are sitting the option exams, I'm not discussing right now your option exams because that you're going to do later on in your ACCA. So right now, let's not discuss. And as it is, you can check your exam status also on the ACCA website by logging into my ACCA. Everybody has that account since you have registered yourself. So you can access everything, your result and everything from there. Okay. Now the best part is you can sit for your main exams and you can resit. That is, if you're reattempting, if you're not clear your exam on demand, if you want to resit, that also is applicable anytime. So you can take your main exam or resit the exam anytime. Any day that suits you. Fine. And there is no restriction on the number of times a candidate can sit a CB. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many attempts you want to give, you can give it. For the same exam, there is no restriction on the same. But of course, we do not want to go to that level. We just want one attempt to clear it. Even not go to the second attempt, right? Sorry. Okay, now. Yes. There are 5 skills checkpoint that are going to be tested in your MS Syllabus. Quickly, guys, please focus here. Number 1, approach to objective test questions. Okay, so let's understand what is your paper pattern look like. This Excel would be uploaded at your LMS. So class-wise, you will get the things over there. Guys, what is a paper pattern? Just look here. So your paper is broadly divided into 2 categories only, section A and section B. When you go to skills and all levels onwards, then you have 3 levels, 3 sections, section A, section B, section C. Right now, in your knowledge levels, you just have 2 sections, section A and section B. Section A has 35 questions of 2 marks each. That becomes 70. Section B has 3 multitask questions of 10 marks each. Okay, let me just elaborately give it to you. So now here we have section A and we have section B. Okay. Section A has 35 questions of 2 marks each. So now how much they become? Total 70 marks. Fine. Now section B has 3 scenarios. Scenario means cases. Okay, 3 kind of cases would be given to you. There is no limit on the number of the questions that could be given for each scenario. It may be that one scenario has only one question, 2 questions, 2 sub questions in it. Maybe another scenario has 3 sub questions in it. Maybe the next scenario has 4 questions in it. So it doesn't matter. Number of questions are not restricted in section B. It's just that each scenario will be of 10 marks each. So 3 scenarios will be total for 30 marks. Okay, again, the internal breakup of scenario, the mark questions and scenarios is not specified. We are clear till here, the paper pattern. Everybody, are you clear with the paper pattern? Any confusions here? Please just let me know. Are you absolutely clear how many questions you have to do for section A and how many for section B? You can raise your hand if you're clear. If you have doubts, you can just put up in the chat box. Everybody, please use raising of hands. And like I said, I don't want sleepy people in the class. Guys, be actively present. Wake up. Come on. Okay, fine. Okay, let's move ahead. So now you know exactly what you have to do in the exam. So first is approach to objective type questions. Okay, this everything would be there with in your book. So you just have to go for it. Absolutely, you have to read it. So number 1, when you're attempting objective type questions or any question, one of the foremost important thing is reading of the question. So first, you have to read your questions very, very carefully. Each and everything, please read it properly. Do not be in a hurry. Do not be in a hastiness. Number 2, answer the question that you know first, because that will give you confidence. It is not necessary you have to start from question number 1 only. It may be that, when you're looking at the questions, question number 3 looks very easy and comfortable to you. It's something that you really know. So now when you're starting from question number 3, since you know the things and your answer seems correct to you, it gives you confidence. So it's always good to start with the question that you know. That is going to give you a lot of confidence. Number 3, answer all questions. You're not going to leave any question. Even if you're not sure about it from the MCQs, just cancel out those that you feel is absolutely wrong. Now, suppose if you're left with 2 answers and you don't know which one to go with your, sixth sense, something, your intuition, that, okay, fine, this seems correct to me, just correct, check that. Do not leave any of the questions. Reason being, there is no negative marking in ACC. So no negative marking means you're not going to deduct your marks. So then why you want to leave question? You never know. Sometimes, that the answer that you ticked out of your, just your sixth sense and then tuition, that has turned out to be correct. So do not leave any question, answer it fully. Apply your technical knowledge to the data presented in the question, of course. Apply your knowledge. That is very, very important. Okay, and your calculators are very, very important to be used in the exam. So I always suggest that even the centers also have calculators in case if you forget. But it's always good. It's always good to use your own calculator because you're comfortable with it. Fine. And you would be really requiring a lot of calculator very, very promptly for a lot of calculation. So have a habit of using your calculator very quickly. That will save your time. Okay, now this is just a replica of scientific calculator that is also allowed in the exam. See, on-screen calculator is there, but I would always suggest physical calculator, Sudhanshu, because physical calculator is more quickly to use, right? On-screen, you're going to use your mouse and then click, click, click. So that takes a lot of time. See, there are 2 types of models that can be used. Scientifically, this is an accepted model, FX82ES. Okay, and as it is, when you go to ACCA, I'll share that article that, where you have the type of calculators which are acceptable in the exam. It's just that only one requirement is there of ACCA, that only those calculators are not accepted. The ones which have a capacity, which have a feature where you can store the data, or, stored it in the text form, display the text form. So if you have data like that, if you have calculators like that, then those are not allowed. But your normal calculators, they are always allowed. I'm not having one right now. So I'll show you in the next class the normal calculators that you all have. Okay, these are generally allowed, and these are the scientific calculators like these are allowed. Okay, because they check your calculators in the exam. So just yes, you'll find them. Go to the ACCA website, you'll find all the centers details. Okay. So these all you can go through. I'll just take those portions I want to, which I am, really feel that is important. Okay. This is very, very important page. Guys, now you know everything, right? Suppose when you're at the end of the syllabus, you're really very intelligent and you completed everything, you know everything. But when you're going in the exam, the few still requisites that you need to have. Number 1, good time management. Knowing everything and solving everything is not just important if that is not within the time limits. You just have 2 hours, and you know how many questions you have to do? 35, section A. And section B, averagely, I'll take 2 to 3 questions for each part. So even if I take 2, there are 3 scenarios. That is approximately 6 plus 3. If I add that, approximately you will have 10 questions. 10 plus 35 is 45 questions. You have to complete, do the calculations, everything in 2 hours. 2 hours means 120 minutes. So approximately you're not going to have more than 2.5 minutes for one question. Okay, so now if you have such limited time and if you're doing it slowly, you're going to lose out on your marks. So time management is very important, that we're going to start from day 1 only. Now the question that you do from day 1, start doing it quickly. Number 2, keep an eye on the clock. Of course, So that always in your ACCA papers, you don't have a clock. You don't have to keep an eye on it. Okay. So what you will do instead, you are going to, and watches are also not allowed. Let me tell you, do not wear watch. They are going to keep it as it is. Watches are not allowed. Okay. Now, when you are sitting in your exam, on your screen, your clock will turn back. It will be running backwards. You start from 2 hours and then it will be decreasing in time. So you don't need to, just have an eye on that clock. Okay, the timer. Question practice, very important. Say for any subject, whether it's your schools also, whether it's your BCom also, whether it's, professional subject like ACCA, professional course. You have to do a lot of practice. Unless you do practice, how do you know what kind of questions would be coming in your exam and how you're going to be preparing for them? So for the practice is essential part of your ACCA journey. Okay. Now I would be starting with the first chapter, but before that, please let me know if you have any queries. The ones who have queries is going to put up in the chat box. Okay, so the one who has a query will put up in the chat box his queries. I'm waiting. If you have any queries in the exam pattern, exam approach, anything, just put up straight away in the chat box. That I'll show you the paper pattern. Yes, thank you for reminding me. Yes, see, remote exams are an option which is allowed by ACCA considering the corona situation. So it's just like, you have to see whenever you're attempting for exam, just see on the ACCA website whether remote exam option is available or not, or just contact the team. They will guide you for the same. The reason being is it's not that all the time remote exam is available. Okay. No. Yes, this is a good question that you have asked me. Is it okay? Arayana is asking me that is it okay if you use the previous year edition books? No, there are a lot of changes that have happened. So let me just show you the paper, the covering page. Can you see the book? For exams from 1st September 21 to 31st August 22. If you're using the previous version that has got some topics, some chapters, that are not there in this book, and there's some topics, some chapters that are there in this book which were not there in the previous book. So if you can just, maybe if you can write down those changes and go with the class, understand them and apply them, then you can keep the old book, not a problem. But if you find difficulties, then you should buy a new book. Okay, Raina? So we use BPP and I find it very, very good, course outline it provides. BP is very, very simplified. Okay. And absolutely in a very precise way, you'll find your understandings to be there. So I typically find BPP much better than Kaplan. But one thing that students always ask me is, once you completed your BPP, then they ask me, ma'am, should we do Kaplan also? I would say no need. This is more than sufficient. Complete your workbook, complete your exam kit, more than sufficient. You don't need to do Kaplans. Okay. Now, why I'm saying everyone to buy the books and not just get PDF from anywhere. Okay, I'll just explain you the passing percentage also. Okay, why I want you to buy the books is because when you buy the book, you have a code. With that code, you can have this ebook access, which I've just opened in front of you. If you have the ebook access, you will get your skills checkpoint and your essential readings. What are essential readings? When we go in the detail of every chapter, these are some additional information apart from what is there on the first, the main screen, the main pages. These are some back pages which are going to help you. And this is not there in the physical books. This is not there in the PDF. This is only there in the ebooks. Only when you have access of ebook, only then you can have this additional information that gives you additional clarity, additional understanding. Okay, one is this, and the other is that you will have the access to more questions. So these are further questions practice. This is not there in the physical book. This is not there in the PDF. So only in the ebook versions, you will find these further questions. And they're really good questions. So it's always advisable that buy the books, get the code and get the ebooks. Okay. So let me show you something. No, dear, we don't provide the PDFs and all, but yes, I would be giving you mock test. Okay, I would be giving you mock test. Plus, VGLD also has the the learning platforms, though where we do not have much mock tests available for the foundation levels, but on the ACCA website also you will have your mock test available. You should access them. That you will have your CB specimen exam. I will give you a quick guide there also. Okay, so you can just follow them. Yes, 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 Sad. Yes, you can. Okay, now everyone, when you're writing any questions to me, suppose when I'm asking you questions and you're writing your solutions, you are going to write direct message to me. Okay, you're not going to write it to everyone. These questions are all okay, but when we are in the chapter, that time I don't want you to write to everyone. Okay, now let me just take you. Okay, for accessing the ebook, you need to buy the physical book. When you buy the physical book, you have a code in that. That code is to be used on the, the online portal where then only you will have your access for the ebooks. Okay. I hope it resolves your query. Give me a moment. I'll take you to the format of the paper. Everybody please focus, because these things are only there for the first class, right? Second class onwards, I'm not going to discuss these things. Paper pattern and everything, because once we have gone through them, then I'll not take them again. Can you see this? Those who are asking me for the question papers also, you have 3 mock exams given in your book. This is going to be there in your physical book also. So these 3 mock exams are there for your practice, given in the book also. Okay. Now I'll just open one mock exam and I'll show you how does your paper looks like. Your passing percentages. Does anyone know the passing percentage? Let me see how many of you know or how many of you don't know that. How much marks you need? 30, 40, 50. Yes, you need 50%, everyone. In order to clear ACCA exam in knowledge level, skills level, and all the levels, you need 50% marks to clear the exam. Okay. So I believe now you're clear. I don't know your name because it's not coming as a name. So I believe you're clear. The one who asked me the query, your passing percentage is 50% in every subject. Okay. Now, guys, please look here. This is a mock that I'm just showing you to make you understand how does a paper look like. Okay, one more thing. I find it very disturbing because I communicate with all of you in the class. So I want you all to rename, your names as it's somebody's mobile number, mobile phone is coming as the name. Somebody's phone number is showing it as a name. So please just use your name so that I can communicate in a better way. Okay, please edit it. Okay, please look here. This is a section A. All 35 questions are compulsory and must be attempted. There is no option that look, out of 40, you have to do 35. It's only 35 questions in front of you and they are compulsory. You have to do them. So you can see here, like in the first question, you have to choose. In the second question, there are two options, and you have to select which one is correct, either one or two or a combination of one or two. What is correct, true or false? You have to select that. See the kind of question that you're going to get. In the third one, now you have to select which two course types. So you have to select two options. So it's a tick box. Similarly, in the fourth one, now you have a graph. See, graph is never going to be prepared by you in the exam. You're never going to prepare graph. But a graph will be in front of you for you to interpret. Okay? So then you have to choose the correct option. Two options, again, you have to select the two options. Again, you have to just select the correct option. And show you some other, like this. This question does not give you any options. Okay, the currency is given to you. You have to just type in the correct figure. So now here you have to do calculations and type in your answer. No options are given. See, now here you have to select the correct option and you have few statements given. Now you have to select which one would give you a correct answer. So you have to select the correct combination. Okay, so this is also a kind of question that will be asked. Again, you have to type in the figure. See, now here you have to select. One is true, which one is false, which one is true, or both are true, both are false, whatever it is, you have to select that. Did you observe one thing, that this is for 2 marks? So every question in section is for 2 marks. Now you will say that, suppose ma'am, if I selected it correctly as true and I wrongly selected it as false, although it was true, will I get 1 marks? No. There is no part marking in section A, section B. No part marking. So if it is correct, you will get full marks. If it is not correct, you will get 0. There is no part marking. The reason is it's being checked by a computer. So the systems are like that, where it is only 0 or 2. There is no midway marks. So you can see here statement true, false. That is also asked in the question. So now here your section A is over. Now let's go to section B and see the 3 different scenarios. So again, all 3 questions are compulsory and they must be attempted. Okay, so never leave a question blank. Please do not leave any questions unattempted, because there is no negative marking. So why do you want to lose marks? There is no use of losing marks, right? So now here there's a graph given in front of you and there are 3 questions based on this graph are asked. Task 1, you have to calculate the figures and write it over here. Task 2, you have to select the 2 correct options. You can see the marks. Task 1 is 6 marks, 2 marks each. Task 2 is 2 marks. So here, if out of 3, you have written 2 boxes correctly and 1 box wrong, you will get 4 marks. But if you have written all the 3 boxes wrong, you'll get 0. Okay. Now you have another task here where you have to select the correct option. You will get 2. So for every correct answers, you will get the marks. Now this is the second scenario. See here. Now in the second scenario, there is only 1 task, 2 tasks, 3 tasks. There are 3 tasks over here. No, there are 4 tasks, sorry. Task 1, task 2, task 3. Okay, so in task 1 only there are 2 subparts. You can see that, right? So task 1A, task 1B. So probably there are 2 subparts in task 1, then task 2, then task 3. See, the pattern is not different from what was there in question number 1. Let's see the third question. Here in the third question, now you have task 1 with the different calculations, task 2 and task 3. So like I said, averagely there are 3 tasks which are given to you. Sometimes there are 4 or sometimes there are 2. But many or almost all the time there are 3 tasks only which are given to you. Fine. So here it's a drop down option. So in your exam, you'll have a drop down option also. Total 2 marks, that becomes 10 marks for each of the scenario. When you add it with the section A, total paper is for 100 marks to be done in 2 hours. Any confusion now in this paper pattern, discussions, exam related? If you have any confusions, any queries, please put up in the chat box. Then we are going to start with the first chapter. I hope everybody is absolutely crystal clear, right? We're not going to be discussing this paper pattern and all again. Yeah. Sneha is asking that, ma'am, if there are 4 parts, and out of the 4 parts, 1 part is correct and rest 3 are wrong, you'll get marks for the first part. Don't worry. Okay, now let's quickly start with the first chapter. So let me just open the book. Okay, everyone. Subject that we are doing is, before going in the chapter, I'm explaining you the chapter. Okay, so we'll understand few things here and then we'll go in detail. So there are 3 things that we have. Management accounting, then we have financial accounting, then we have something called cost accounting. Can anyone tell me what is financial accounting? In a very simple terms, like what do you know what is a financial accounting? You all have done your 12th and all. Most of you are in your first year, second year. So you know about it. What is financial accounting? And what do we do in financial accounting? Like, what do we do in these? Financial accounting is accounts, okay? More than this, can anyone just tell me a little bit more elaborately about it? Whatever you know, you can put in your query. You can put in your points, guys. Yeah, very valid. So Yeshu says, yes, it is concerned with preparation of balance sheet. Very true. Financial accounting is concerned with preparation of balance sheet, recording of transactions. So it is used to prepare financial statements, right? Cash flows and balance sheets and your P&Ls. So it's about the statements which are prepared for the external shareholders. So yes, if I summarize, I can simply say financial accounting is not just concerned with your, your managers and your employees and, the people inside the organization. It's concerned with people outside the organization also, like your shareholders, the government, the investors, and all the other stakeholders. So I can say that financial accounting, it's a very broad meaning, right? It is concerned with both internals and your external people. So it's a very broad picture that is there. It's got a broad meaning, and it is basically financial accounting is compulsory from the government's point of view. Right? We have laws and regulations that tell us how you're going to prepare your financial accounting. We have accounting standards that tell us what should be a format of financial accounting, what should be included in the statements, what should not be included in the statements, and the other things. Right? So it's a very broad picture. Now, from financial accounting, we have got management accounting. So we can say that, financial accounting gives, basically leads to management accounting. So management accounting is kind of a sub part of a financial accounting. Do you know anything about management accounting, the subject that you are going to do, that you are doing basically? Do you know what is a management accounting? And please do not read the text and give me those text language. I don't want it. If you know, then only type in. If you do not know, just do not type in anything. Yes, very valid point. Sneha says that, ma'am, it's prepared for internal users. Very good. But which internal users? Can you elaborately tell me that which internal users, they use management accounting? Very good, Stuti. Managers. Yes, so basically it's more from managers' point of view, and yes, board of directors also, because ultimately managers, they report to their management, board of directors. Very good. It's not just for financial managers, okay? Sneha, it's not just for financial managers. It's applicable to your material managers also. Yes, so Danshi very rightly put up that management accounting basically is concerned with your budgetings and their cost related terms also. Yes, Sal, it's used for decision making. Very good. Look at the thought process that you guys are having. Even before starting the subject, you are giving me bingo, perfect, correct answers. Very good. So if I can just simply put up, I can in very, very simpler terms or in a very, very layman terms, I can say that management accounting is basically when you're taking the information from financial accounting, because ultimately we're using that information only, right? So we're taking the information from financial accounting basically to be used by managers for decision making. Now, these decisions are not just for the taking out the cost, but a decision like whether a company should invest, $20 million in another company, yes or no. Whether the company should make the investments right now or no. How the company should collect the data from the market. Okay. How the company should prepare reports. How the company should prepare the budgets. How we can forecast our figures in the future so that, we can make better plans. So it is helping you in planning process also. Management accounting is basically deriving that information from financial accounting that helps the managers in taking the decisions. Decisions like, preparing the plans, then evaluating the plans, taking the decisions based on those plans, see the actual performance of the company, compare the planned performance and the actual performance, get the variances, evaluate them, try to remove the variances, okay, and then take the actions. So these entire steps, they are nothing but management accounting. So in a very, very, very simpler terms, management accounting is nothing but the accounting by the manager. So basically, these are the informations and the data and the other things which are used by the managers for taking their decisions. So now I hope I'm making it very crystal clear that your management accounting and your cost accounting, They are not one and the same thing. They are not one and the same thing, right? Rather, can I say that cost accounting is basically a part of management accounting? So decision making by the managers, they require cost to be calculated and evaluated. So that's just a part of your management accounting, but that's not the complete picture of a management accounting. Am I absolutely clear till here? If yes, just quickly let me take you to the book and just let us discuss some of the portions relating to this. If you have any queries anywhere, you are going to ask me in the class, in the chat box, without any hesitation. Because I will be asking you questions. And that time when I'll be asking you, I want answers absolutely bingo correct answers. That's my criteria. Okay? Okay, so let's quickly go on to the chapter. We are not going to do the reading of the chapter, okay? We are going to take the important corrects and then understand them. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on chapter 3. Yeah, so I'll just take the corrects, okay? Wherever it is required, I'll take those portions from the chapter because I already explained you beforehand. So what is cost accounting? Cost accounting is the gathering of cost information. One thing before we discuss this, ma'am, do we have to learn the definitions? Not at all. You're not students who have to mug up the data, guys. This is professional level, professional exams. No more those, ratifications and you're mugging up, learning up. No, nothing like that. You have to get the conceptual clarity. Absolutely crystal clear concepts is what you need. Nothing else. Okay. So cost accounting is the gathering of cost information and its attachment to the cost objects and establishment of budget, standard cost, and actual cost of operations, processes, activities, and products, and analysis of variances, profitability, or the social use of funds. There are a lot of things, that went like this, right? So let's understand that. Cost accounting is the gathering of cost information because it's related to cost. It's attachment to cost objects. What are cost objects? That is basically on those things on the basis of which you're calculating the cost, like you're calculating the cost of a product, like you're calculating the cost of an activity. So what kind of cost you need direct cost, you need indirect cost. These are cost objects. Okay, what are direct, indirect cost? Have patience, I would be explaining to you. Now cost, preparing the cost budgets. Okay, budget means you're preparing for the future. So how would you prepare for the future? You have to keep a benchmark, you have to keep a standard. That is a standard cost. Standard cost is nothing but, for the time being, just understand it's like your budgeted cost. Okay, that is, you have estimated the cost, but estimated cost is your standard cost that you have kept as a benchmark for your actual performances to be compared with. Now with this standard cost, compare your actual performance. If the company is going good, you will get a positive variances difference. If the company is doing bad, you're going to get a negative variance. So then once you get the variances, analyze them. This is the entire process of your cost accounting. Clear? I believe now. Let's look at what is management accounting. Management accounting is the application of the principles of financial accounting to create, protect, preserve, and increase the value for the shareholders for not-for-profit and not-for-profit and profit-making organizations in public and private sector. So basically, you're getting the values, the data from your financial accounting, which the management use in order to create the value or to increase the value of their shareholders. Ultimately, everyone is concerned with the shareholders. So their aim should be to increase the profitability, increase the value of the shareholders so that it gives them good returns. So that's a purpose of management accounting, that how managers will take those actions. It's a question of managers, how managers will take decisions, how managers will take those actions that due to which your profitability will increase, and then in turn shareholders will get a good return, so the company will be assumed to be doing good. Fine. Okay, the main areas of management accounting, you already know about it. Trust me, we're just doing it like this. Number one, costing. All of us know main areas of management accounting: costing. Planning, we discussed. Planning means you are defining the objectives and you're assessing the future cost and revenues to set up a budget. This is planning, right? Your forecast, you are estimating for the future. Then third is control. You know that control is number one, comparing the estimated budgets that you're prepared with the actual performance, see the differences, calculate the variances. This is number one. In order to control means basically, you have to ensure that whatever plans the company's made, the performance is going accordingly. So suppose I kept a target for you that, look guys, you have to complete. Yes, but I will not use the term feedback loop here. We'll use it appropriately in another topic. I don't want to confuse the students. Now I give you an example, guys. If I tell you that, you all have to complete your first 10 chapters in 20 days. I give you this target. Actually, you're only able to complete 15 days in 15 chapters. Then you all are falling short by 5 chapters. That's a negative thing. Right? So now that is going to, now I have to take control actions in order to ensure that this does not happen again. So what I will do, either I will increase the time, right? Or I'll put some other criteria to ensure that you guys are completing the syllabus well in time to what I've said. Understood? Absolutely. I hope so. Second, control is, or the control processes. Second stage is the corporate plan. Overall 5-year plan of the company. Every company has a longer vision, right? So they prepare 5-year plan, 10 years plan, 15 years plan, like that. Now we need to review them continuously in order to ensure that is our train, going in the right track or not? Are we able to achieve the target or not? Because if the company is not able to achieve the target in 5 years time, what is the use of making those plans? So we need to review those plans also, okay, on every year basis to ensure the longer 5-year vision is also getting achieved. Right. So we have done the three things that are part of your management accounting: cost, planning, control. Now the next is decision making. Once you've done the control actions, you've done the planning things. Now the next step is taking a decision. What do we have to do? Suppose a company has to take a decision whether to invest in the European market or not. Now, once you prepared the plan, you compared the actual performances, got the variances, now take a decision whether the company will invest in the European market or not. Right? So this is a part of your management accounting. Reason being, it is done by managers. And the last is performance evaluation. What is performance evaluation? Performance evaluation is basically comparing the actual performances with the targets, okay, or with the budgets or the division budgets, the company budgets, the individual budgets, whatever is the case, comparing it against them, and then checking the performance of the manager to ensure that whether the manager has worked well in his department or not. So this is performance evaluation. And generally those bonuses and all, they are linked with the performance evaluation. If the manager has done a good work, he'll get good rating, he'll get good bonus. If the manager has not achieved this budget, then he'll get negative rating and negative bonus. This is how it works. Let's look at 1, 2 flowcharts, and then you're going to ask me for any queries. I'll summarize it again and you're going to put up your queries to me. If I tell you how does a planning process looks like, number one, it looks like you have to assess the external environment, assess the internal environment in the organization, assess the future of the organization, for how long you expect the company to be going on, that is for a longer period of time or a shorter period of time. See, the companies like seasonal clothes, right? The companies which are into seasonal clothing, suppose winter wear only, they know that, that the cycle is very limited to these 3-4 months, right? So now they make a plan accordingly. They don't make a plan for the full year. They aim, or they mainly concentrate on these 3-4 months, because they know that once the season is over for winter clothing, on summers, nobody's going to buy winter clothes. So, right, they cannot expect a huge sale in that summer, maybe 1 or 2%, but not more than that. So when they're making the plans, the managers, they have to keep in mind these considerations also. So assess the external environment, assess the internal environment, assess the future, estimate the future, and then assess the expectations of the customers. What do the customers expect? What is their expectations? Accordingly, the plans should be made. Once the plans are made, once the assessment is done, that what exactly needs to be done, then we are going to evaluate the company's objectives. What is the overall objective of the company? Then we should see the different ways in which the objectives can be achieved, finalize the way that by which you want to achieve the company's objectives, then make a corporate plan. Okay, once you make a corporate plan, then from corporate is a bigger plan, right? A 5-year, 10-year plan. So once you make that corporate plan, it can be a bigger plan also. Or suppose if a company has many divisions, then a corporate plan is a plan for the entire company. And if you are just a part of the division, then you're going to, accordingly accordingly you have to make, you will prepare it from your division's point of view, or even division budgets are prepared, so you'll get a division budget for your division. Fine. So detailed planning is there. Planning is not just for preparing the corporate plan, but for making the divisional plan and the other plans also. Planning is a very, very, very crucial process, because if your plans are wrong, your plans are faulty, then of course, with the performance evaluation is of no use. So therefore, planning has to be done very, very thoughtfully. Okay. Now the next is decision-making process. How do you take a decision? Once you have made the objectives, okay, you have identified what are the goals and what are the objectives, identify the different opportunities or the different alternative solutions to achieve the objectives. Collect and analyze the relevant data for each alternative. Make the decision, state the expected outcome of the decision, implement the decision, then obtain the actual results and compare and get the differences between the two. This is decision making. Decision making is nothing. Identify the objective that you want to achieve. Okay, or suppose what is a decision to be taken? Evaluate that objective. Now, once you have evaluated, then identify the alternative course of action or alternative, ways to achieve the objective. Then we'll collect the relevant data about each alternative. See which is that alternative that you want to go with in order to achieve the objective. Once you've gone with that alternative, you've finalized it. Now you see what is the expected objective, how much is the actual performance, compare the two and get the variances. Variances are a base of this management accounting as well as cost accounting. Always keep it in mind. Okay, so now again I'm repeating what are the different sub parts in management accounting. Costing. Okay, number 2, planning. In the planning process, now we've just seen the flow chart. We may be doing planning for a corporate, we may be doing planning for a division, but the same flow charts, the same steps that we discussed, we need to follow them. Absolutely. Okay. Right. So the assessment, evaluation, or these steps are important from an MCQ point of view. So you should keep them in your head. First, you have to assess the plans, what plans you're going to make. Then you're going to, evaluate the corporate objectives, that whether the corporate objectives and the assessment of the plans that we have done, assessment of the objective that you have done, are they matching with each other or not? Once you have assessed, check the objective of the organization. Then you will see the different ways by which you can achieve the objective, select the appropriate way, and then of course do the planning, not just of the resources of everything, do the planning, and then prepare the plans for the company, for the different divisions, and for the other subparts as is required by the company. Fine, we are clear. So what we did: first step, control; second step, planning; third step, first step, control. Am I correct? First step is control. First subpart is costing. Very good. Very good, Sneha. Guys, wake up quickly. Give me answers. Costing, planning, control, decision making, and performance evaluation. Anybody has any doubts? Put up in the chat box. Quick. Very good, Yeshu. Any doubts, even the slightest of your queries, you're going to put up in the chat box. No need to carry it back with you after the class. Okay? Okay, fine. Once you have done this, let's understand how does the planning takes place. Okay, so let me just take you again to Excel. Yes. How does the planning takes place in the organization? So there are different ways by which a planning is done in the organization. Let's understand them. So planning in the, guys, be ready. I'm going to ask you questions. Number one, so planning is done at strategic level. We are going to understand this with the question, okay? So planning is done at strategic level. Planning is done at tactical level. And planning is done at operational level. Okay, we'll understand what kind of plans are made. Strategic level is the top level of the organization. Okay, the top level. That's basically, your management, your board of directors, and the senior managers like your CEOs, CFOs, they all are a part of this strategic level. So strategic level is also called as a top level of the organization. Tactical level is also called as middle level of the organization. And operational level is also called as lower level of the organization. That is where your workers are, your superintendents are. These are all lower levels. Can tell me, board of directors, your management is there. I'll tell you the first step, and then other two steps you are going to put in your views. So just think and hear carefully. Suppose, mine is a Tata company. Okay, let's take example of Tata Motors. So the management generally has, and a chairman is the Ratan Tata, right? So according to you, when they're making plans at the strategic level or top level, would they be interesting in knowing that, okay, in the Chhattisgarh market, in India, in Chhattisgarh market, which of the car is growing rapidly in the Chhattisgarh market? Suppose if I just give you a small example, that the management is given a data that out, and the Tata Motors is there in the entire country. So I'm just taking one India subcontinent. So suppose I'm just taking Indian subcontinent and I'm not taking any overseas country right now. Then if I say that to the management, we have provided the data which tells us that in Chhattisgarh, which four-wheeler is more popular. And do you think that this information that I've given, Chhattisgarh, the four-wheelers are more popular, this is going to affect the overall strategic decision making done by the management of the company, over a period of 5 years, because they generally maintain the 5-year plans. So just this small information which I've given, do you think it is going to be really very important for them to, to change their 5-year plans? Yes or no? Okay, so yes, somebody says yes, because it can, it is the part of their market, so it can. No says Sneha. Okay, Paras says yes, maybe. Okay, and Sat says yes, Arayana yes, Shivam yes, others revert. What do you think? Is this information very critical for Ratan Tata to take a decision on the future of Tata Motors? Or do you think that this decision is more important for managers? For, the marketing managers and all? I am talking about 2 levels. One is at board of directors and the CEOs and the CFO level. One is those, like the marketing managers, the production managers, those department head levels. So it is more important to strategic level or to managerial level. Level 1 or level 2. You can write 1 or 2, any of the one levels that you want to write. Okay, very good, very good. Everybody write in, give me your views. Level 1, level 2. Adarsh, what do you think? Dipanshi, don't be on mute mode. Give me answers. Prabsimran, what do you think? Prateek, Stuti, Tamsa, Revert, what do you all think? Which level is going to be using this information more for making the plans? Level 1 or level 2? What do you think? Okay, Shivam Stuti says second level, Prateek, second level, Dipanshi, level 2. Okay, so everyone is telling me level 2. Are you sure you're correct? Tamsa also says level 2. Guys, absolutely correct. For Mr. Ratan Tata, for board of directors, for CEOs and the CFOs, they are more concerned with the overall objective of the company in the 5 years. That where they want to see the company in 5 years, how much market they are going to expand to, how much their market they are going to penetrate into. Right now, if they're only in the Indian subcontinent, they would take plans how to go overseas. So they look at broad vision, a very, very broad vision, not just for 1 year, but they take a vision of where they want to see the company in 5 years and 10 years. This is strategic plans, creating the corporate objectives, the overall objective of the company, ensuring that these objectives are achieved. If I just gave you the example of the Chhattisgarh is not really creating a big scene, for the Tata Motors to think, oh my God, whether we are going to do a planning for the same or not. In fact, the marketing manager will look into the same and he will see, okay, that in Chhattisgarh, 4-wheelers are very popular, then 2-wheelers are less popular. So why don't we decrease our sales for 2-wheelers, for that area? And why don't we increase the 4-wheeler sales for that area? Why don't we do that? So this is a decision to be taken by the managers. So the managers come at second level. Now the company, the board of directors, the management has prepared the overall bigger objective for the company, right? They prepared the overall corporate objective. And now, once they prepare the objective, it is communicated to all managers. So now managers will divide these 5 years into yearly objective. And those yearly targets are then prepared, yearly budgets are prepared. Why? Because these yearly targets, would be required to see the performance every year. Because only if every year performance is achieved, only then those 5 years will be achieved. Right? Absolutely clear? I hope now we go to the operational level decisions. Operational level are more day to day because they are workers and the supervisors involved. So they are not concerned with what is the company's sales would be after 1 year. They are more concerned with what will be the sales of the company in a 1 week, in maybe 15 days, in 1 month, every day. So they are more concerned with detailed plans. So as you can see, we started with strategic level and we were at the broad plans, right? The corporate objectives. Yes, the issue. And then gradually we are detailing the objectives. From 5 years, we made it to 1 year. From 1 year, we made it to 1 month or maybe 1 week or maybe 15 days. And in fact, we had 1 year plan for the entire company, Tata Motors. But now Tata Motors has different divisions in the country. So now we have to divide those 1 year plans into the different divisions, divisional plans. And from the divisions, now from the division yearly plans, it will become divisions monthly plan and so on. Okay, are you guys clear with this? Let's read the topic. You ask me any queries that you have, and then we'll do some questions, and then only we'll move to the next topic. Okay, so just give me 2 minutes to make you again understand this. Okay, guys. So R.N. Anthony, a leading writer on the organizational control, has suggested that the activities of planning, control, decision making should not be separated, because of course they go together. No? Only when you plan, you can control. Once you have to do the controlling thing, then only you can take a decision. Of course, you will get the notes of the lecture every day when your classes are over. It will be uploaded on the LMS. Do not be worried about it. Okay. Now, I will be always giving the relevant notes. It's not what I say, everything I would write it down. Whatever is relevant, we'll prepare it in the class and I'll give it to you that time only. Okay. So now we know that there are 3 levels of the organization. Strategic, tactical, operational. Now, can I just write little bit small things, little bit about them so that you can always remember it? Strategic level is more concerned with preparing the objectives. I would let you know everything about accessibility notes, everything. Let's first concentrate in the class, then I'll give you the things. Okay, very good, Prab Simran. Board of directors. So it's not just board of directors. We have the other senior levels also, like CEOs, CFOs, your plant head, division head, they all come in the strategic levels. So strategic level of the top level, what is their objectives? So their objective is preparing overall corporate objectives. Very good. Deciding the corporate plan for the company. That is what? Preparing the overall corporate objectives. Okay. Preparing and changing if needed. Any changes need to be made in the corporate objectives. Then basically, resource planning. This is very important, right? Now you have prepared an overall corporate objective for your company. Suppose your company is into making spare parts for the car. Now you have made an objective that I want to make the next Audi in 10 years. But boss, you need to have the resources to make that Audi, no? You cannot just make Audi in the air, right? So we need some resources. So the resource planning is to be done by the top level to see overall that do they have that capacity to make the car that is desired or not. Whether they are so much capable of going into that budget or not. So this entire resource planning is also to be done at the top level. Right? And preparing the policies. Of course. Very much all the policies are made by the top level only. Only then they come to the tactical levels. So let's go to the middle level. Guys, what does a middle level do? A middle level, therefore, it converts long-term plans into short-term plans. 5 years, it converts to 1-year plans, annual plans. Very good, Yeshu. It oversees the annual budgets, annual budgeting. Very good. Executing the plans. It's not planes, it's plans of the top level, okay? Yes, so they convert long-term plans into short-term plans. Very good. I like this point. Executing the plans. Yes, they include the managers. Yes, that's what the middle level is, the managers. Preparing the annual budgets and targets. Very good. What does the operational level do? Now quickly, please tell me, what are the operational level plans? So their main aim is to ensure that the targets given to them are achieved in time. So like what kind of targets we have? They can be given weekly targets or monthly targets and so on. So they are more into short-term planning. Absolutely correct. Carry out specific tasks on detailed plans, plan day-to-day activities, all ground level work. Very good. Please type in your name. It's appearing as Poco X3 Pro. Please tell me your name. Tamsa, yes, supervising teams. Very good. Right. So it's more of a supervision work. Yes, Hakeem, very good. Okay. So supervisory work. That the targets are getting achieved. So now we know we have a broad picture, like what are strategic plans, tactical plans, and operational plans. Let's quickly understand them again. So what is a strategic planning? The process of deciding an objective of the organization, any changes in these objectives, the resources to attain these objectives, the policies to govern the acquisition, use, and disposition of these resources, right? So policy making for the company, how you're going to use the resource, how you're going to apply the resource, how you're going to dispose of these resources, okay? How you're going to use them in the organization, how these resources are going to be applied, and after application, what objectives will be achieved. So everything is going to be decided at the corporate level only. Long-term strategic planning, also known as corporate planning, involves selecting appropriate strategies so as to prepare a long-term plan to achieve these objectives. Examples of strategic planning include like selection of the product and the market, like we discussed, selection of the product and the markets, the required level of the company's profitability, and the purpose of disposal of subsidiary companies on major non-current assets. So basically all the bigger decisions, they are taken by the top level, right? So we want to go for takeover of a new company, we want to sell off a company, okay, all these decisions are taken at strategic level. The tactical level is also known as managerial control or management control, or the middle level of the organization. The process by which the managers assure the resources are obtained and used effectively in the achievement of the objectives. Okay, once the management has decided that, look, we need to, we need to make 5,000 units of the product in 5 years. So first, the managers will decide how many units are to be made each year. So if suppose they decide that out of 5,000 divided by 5, approximately 1,000 units should be made each year. Okay, if that is the aim, then how much resources are required for making those 1,000 units? Do we have those resources in our capacity? Yes or no? If no, get those resources. This is the responsibility of tactical men. So we can say precisely, tactical level is more concerned with achievement of the objectives. Then whether the objectives that are fixed by the top level, they are going to be achieved or not. If not, then why? What is the reason? What is the variance? Fine. Okay, I'll just tell you two terms. I'll not explain here. I'll explain in Excel. There are two terms. One is efficiency. And I want you to focus here. And the other is effectiveness. Efficiency is suppose you have 100 kg of input. You have 100 kg of wheat. And you have to make flour. So suppose out of this wheat, case number 1, we made 100 kg output, that is flour. Case number 2, out of this wheat, 100 kg of wheat, we made 90 kg of flour. If I ask you, guys, where we worked more efficiently, you will say, ma'am, case number 1, because our output was higher in case number 1 with the inputs. This is efficiency. Efficiency is how much output you're able to get from the input. If you're able to get more number of output from the input, your company is working efficiently. Okay, but if you're getting reduced a low number of output from the input, then it's your company is inefficient. So the management, the middle level management now is more concerned with this efficiency, because ultimately he is the one, he's who's going to help the company to achieve the targets. So if suppose the labor is not working efficiently, the material is of poor quality, there are a lot of wastage, then what will happen? The company's objectives will not be achieved, plus we'll have more expenditure since we are using cheaper material and since we are using cheaper labor, because of which they are not able to work efficiently, but they're taking the same amount of wages, but they are not working efficiently. So this is efficiency. So checking the efficiency is the responsibility of middle management, correct? Second, effectiveness. You know what is effective? Effectiveness is, okay, fine, boss, you were able to make out of 100 kg wheat, you were able to make 100 kg of flour. That's very good. You have worked very efficiently. The company has worked very efficient. But boss, the requirement of the output that is demanded from the company is not 100 kgs. It's only 70 kgs. The demand that the customers have put in is only 70 kgs, but you made 100 kgs. Is it effective? Even though there was high efficiency, but is it effective? Yes or no? Please revert. I'll again put up the question. We are 100 kgs of wheat, out of which we made 100 kg of flour. And you said, yes, ma'am, it is very efficient. The labor is so efficient. They produce such high number of output from the input. Case number 1, over. Case number 2. Now, when we look into the actual requirement, the actual demand for the company's flour is not 100 kgs, it's only 70 kgs. But we have made 100 kg. Now the question is, are we able to effectively use the input to get the desired output, or is the output that we desire, is it matching with the objective of the organization? Yes or no? Everyone revert. Yes or no? Okay, so Sneha says, yes, it is effective. Guys, revert quickly, everyone. I don't need to call the names, right? Okay. So most of you say, ma'am, it is not going to be effective, but Sneha says, ma'am, it is going to be effective. Sneha, do you think it is effective? Effective means, is the output that is getting produced, is it matching with the objective? Considering the demand also. Considering the demand, is it matching with the objectives? Yes, very good. Sneha says, yes, ma'am, we have achieved the goal. Yes, very good, Hakeem. Sneha, even though we have achieved the goal of 70 kgs, but don't you think we have produced extra of the 30 kgs? Was that required also? So don't you think we are wasting the company's resources? Yes or no? Please revert. So that is what is not needed. It is not effective production. We are producing in excess of the demand, which is not required also. It's getting wasted. And this wastage is a cost to the company. So this is wrong. So you're effectively, your output is not having effective production. So the production that the company is having or the resources are not used effectively here. Even though the resource was used efficiently, but it was not effectively used. Because the output that came out was more than the requirement. That's a wastage. Right? Everybody's with me? So now we are clear with efficiency and effectiveness. What do we understand by efficiency and what do we understand by effectiveness? Are we clear? Because I think with this example, we should be clear. If we are not, please put up in the chat box. Okay? Anyone who still not clear, confused, is not sorted on this, will put up in the chat box. I don't want anyone to be leaving the class with a doubt. Okay? Yeah. So efficiency is the use of resources. It means that the optimum output is achieved from the input resource used, like we discussed. It relates to the combinations of labor, land, capital, that is how much production work should be automated. Okay, the productivity of labor, material usage. So basically, if I put it in short, it's basically how you're using your resources efficiently in order to ensure that the inputs are giving the desired output. And okay, or basically, if the inputs are giving to the maximum output or not, that's the target of efficiency. Effectiveness is basically the outputs that you have obtained, are they matching with the objective or not? If they are in excess, wastage, if there's a shortfall, then we need to see why we are not able to achieve the objective. Okay, now operational level, the process of assuring that specific tasks are carried out efficiently and effectively. Why? Because the actual work is not done by anyone else, but only by the operational team. So it is important to remember that operational planning occurs in all aspects of the organization's activities, even when the activities cannot be scheduled or properly estimated because they are non-standard activities. Like non-standard means the ones which are not doing regularly, like the repair work. You're not doing regularly repair work in the organization. So even for this non-standard activities, planning will still happen. Why? Because we have a tentative figure that yes, I don't need repair every year, but based on the past trends, we generally require repair for around $500,000. So like that, if we know a tentative figure, now we make the plans accordingly based on that estimate. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a provisioning that you're doing. This ABC thing. No, ABC I'll not put up, no, just forget. The scheduling of unexpected or ad hoc activities. Ad hoc means once in a time, which are not regular, like a repair thing, like an AMC thing, like a breakdown thing. It's not a regular activity in the organization. So these ad hoc work must be done at a very short notice, which is a feature of much operational plans. In the repairs department, for example, routine preventive maintenance like AMC, it can be scheduled, but breakdown and repair work, they're not scheduled work, right? So generally we give at a planning phase, we give just a tentative figure. Fine. And every month we keep on reviewing it to ensure that the repair costs and the AMCs and the other costs, which are not regular costs, that ad hoc cost, like a breakdown cost, we keep reviewing them to ensure that we are not, we have not put excess expenditure for them. We just kept the expenditure aside, which is required in the planning process while preparing the budgets. Fine. So now we are clear with the 3 levels: strategic, tactical, and operational, and we know what kind of goals and the plans are prepared at each of these levels. Okay, so let's quickly do one question. I want everybody to look on my screen and nowhere else. Okay, give me the answer. Plan 1. Read it and tell me. It is strategic, tactical, or operational? Quickly. And why it is strategic or tactical or operational? Give me a reason also. Very good. Sudhanshu. Everyone quickly type in. No, you have to use the correct language. Strategic, tactical, operational. You can use STO. That's okay with me. S means strategic, T means tactical, O means operational. You can give me a reason also. Guys, wake up quickly. Just another 5 minutes more for the class. Stuti, give me answer. Yes. Stuti, why you written STO? S is strategic, T is tactical, O is operational. Give me which one is it? It cannot be 3, right? It can only be 1. The first plan. Yes. Okay, Paras says it's tactical. Tamsa strategic. Rest everyone says it is strategic. Very good. But the reasons that you have given, some of you are not correct. Yes, it's correct. It's strategic. Why it is strategic? It's not because of 5% or 5 years in isolation. You will take this entire thing together. Very good. I'm not come to plan 2. I'm sorry. Right now I'm discussing plant 1 only. Guys, yes, it is plant 1 is strategic, not tactical. Why? Because I'll now see the 2 points together. Number 1, 5 years time. Very good, Hakeem. Number 1, it's 5 years time. And 5 years is a longer period. That's strategic levels decision. Number 2, the decision is to increase the sales by 5% for the entire company, not for a division. So decision to increase the sales cannot be taken by a manager because he's not the one who's governing the company. It's the board of directors who are running this company. Paras, I'll give you an example. Now you are a sales manager of Tata Motor. Okay? You have been given an annual target of 1,000 units. Okay? I'm not talking about how many will you achieve. But once you receive a plan that you have to make 1,000 units, you call board of directors and say that, boss, I'm not happy with this 1,000 units. No? Okay, I'll make my team work 24 hours. I won't give them 1 minute rest, but I will achieve 3,000 units. Okay, but a board of directors say, no, boss, the target is fixed for 1,000 units, or you cannot change the target. Because you only send those the responses when you're setting up the budget. I'll explain you later on what are the steps. But you only give them the inputs that, look, we can make 1,000 units. So now you approach them again and again and again. Now board of directors, they take a decision, okay, that fine, we will increase the target from 1,000 units to 3,000 units. Now please revert, Paras. Was this increase in your control as a sales manager, or you had to get the permission granted for this increase of 1,000 to 3,000? Please tell me. Right now, we're not talking about the bigger plans and breaking it in smaller plans. We are talking about the plans for the overall company point of view. See, here it is written 5 years. It's a plan that every year your sales should increase by 5 years, 5%. It's a plan made for 5 years in the length. That in the span of 5 years, the sales should increase every year by 5%. Right? Paras, are you with me? Yes, okay. So now if I eliminate this point, now Paris, I'll eliminate this. Senior management decide that the company should increase sales by 5%. Paris, sales manager is just an employee of the company. The main decisions are taken by board of directors. Yes or no? Correct? Is the sales manager has got that power to tell them to basically he make a decision that in 5 years time Tata Motors should acquire company XYZ in Kenya? Can he take that decision? Can he take the decision that in 5 years time Tata Motors sales should increase by 50%? It's not every year. It's a long-term plan that is being made. Can a sales manager dictate this long-term plan? Can he say that how much is to be achieved in this 5 years? Please revert, Paris. Yes, he can help in increasing the objective, but he cannot tell what objective is to be fixed. He will ensure that, he will try to make such plans or such, such probably he can take some steps by which he can motivate the lower level people that look, let's try to increase the object, let's try to achieve the target, achieve levels of sales beyond the target. So he will try to ensure that, but he cannot guarantee that the sales would be increased or not. But he cannot tell that, look, your board of directors are saying you to achieve 1,000 units, but I am your sales manager and I am telling you to achieve 2,000 units. Boss, this is not his powers or his, authority that he has. He does not have that authority. Are you clear now? Paris, please, I'm just asking Paris right now. Paris, are you clear now? The clear lines of responsibilities and authorities of a top level and a tactical level. Fine, I hope everybody's clear. So a tactical level cannot dictate the company's objectives for all levels of the organization. He can try to ensure these objectives are crossed, but he cannot say that, look, I changed these objectives. Yes, he has to follow what is directed by strategic level. So strategic level is the level which has the authority to fix the objectives. Once the objectives are fixed, now to breaking them into smaller plans is the responsibility of tactical level. But he cannot change the objective entirely. I hope I'm making myself very clear now to everyone. Yes? Anyone has any doubts can put up in the chat box. Fine, now let's move ahead. Plan 2. The sales director and the senior sales managers, now this is the tactical level. They make plans to increase sales by 5% in the next year, with some provisional planning for future years. This involves planning direct sales resources, advertisement, sales promotion, and so on. Sales quotas are assigned to each sales territory. Now they are breaking down into smaller plans. See, we are just continuing this example only. The corporate made the plan, that board of directors, they made the plan of increasing the sales by 5% for 5 years. That they are going to increase. Sorry, I was on mute. Tactical issue is not telling me that yes, it is tactical level, because plans to increase sales in the next year and they are executing the long-term plans by advertisement, sales promotion and all. Very good. So first level, strategic levels, they made long-term plan for 5 years of increasing sale every year by 5%. Now tactical are just increasing the sales by same 5% for every year. So they are not changed the objective of the company. They are using the same objective, but now they're breaking down into annual plans and then further into divisional plans. And how they're doing it? By maybe doing a lot of sales promotions, advertisement and all. So the way to implement is decided by the tactical managers. The board of directors, they only tell that, look guys, you have to achieve this target. How you achieve it, that's your headache. So that's a headache of tactical level. I hope I'm clear. Let's go to the third level. Third level is now we have decided. Now they have prepared the annual plans. They have prepared the plans for each division, sales territories and all. Now let's come to the third level, where we have the manager of that division or manager of that sales territory. And now the manager of the sales territory, it specifies the weekly sales targets for each of the sales representative. Because now it's at the operational level. They are no longer interested in annual targets. So now each manager of the sales territory will give the weekly or fortnightly or monthly targets to the respective teams. So very good. It is operational. So now summarizing this picture again, the corporate plans of increasing sales by 5% in each of the 5 years strategic level. Once it is decided, they're broken down into the annual plans and the division plans. Once it is done, now the divisional managers will break it down further to monthly, quarterly, or generally it is weekly, fortnightly, or monthly targets. So that the lower level people, they know that whether if every week targets are getting met, monthly targets will be met. If every monthly targets are being met, quarterly targets are met. If quarterly targets are met, then annual targets are met. This is how the chain goes on. And of course, if annual targets are met, then the 5-year targets are also met. Are you clear? Each and every student in the class, please tell me. Anyone who has any queries will put up in the chat box. Good. So see, since it was the first class, I've taken it in a very lighter note. And of course, I'll explain the third one again. Okay. And of course, I want you all to go through the patterns, the paper patterns, everything. Whatever we have done today, even if it was just for 4 pages, you have to revise that. Okay, you have to revise that and then come to the class with this revision. If you have any doubts, always the first 15 minutes of the class are for doubt solving. That is there from the previous class. Okay, so even if you have doubts from the previous class, you can ask me in the next class, not a problem. When will you ask? When you have read the chapter, read the portions that we do in the class. So please do read it regularly. Now, Hakeem, your point that the manager of the sales territory specifies the weekly sales targets. Hakeem, let's take your example. Suppose I am the board of directors. I give you a target that you have to, the company has to achieve 10,000 sales, units of sales in the next 5 years. Now, suppose Tamsa is the sales director of the company. Now she has broken down this 10,000 sales targets to 2,000 annual targets every year. Now you are and then every year it is 2,000, and she has also broken it down, this 2,000 annual targets for each of the 5 divisions. There are 5 divisions in the company. So now 2,000, I assume it's equal that she has divided. So 2,000 divided by 5, each division will have 400 units as annual target every year. Now you are the division manager for one of the division. So now you know that this division has to achieve 400 units in the year. So now you give 400 divided by 12. That's approximately 350 units, 340 units. So now you know that it's approximately 340 units every month, 34 units every month that has to be achieved by the division. So now you being the sales manager, you give your team a target of 34 units a month, or you tell them this divided by 4, that's approximately 8 units a week. So now you tell them that, look, you have to achieve 8 units a week. Okay, 8 units must be sold every week. That's your target. And monthly is 34 units. So you can see how this 10,000 got divided to 8 units and 34 units. This is how the different levels work. Are you clear now, Hakeem? Please revert yes or no. Okay. Territory is nothing but a division kind of a thing. Territory is geographically when you divide the part, like your north zone, east zone, south zone, like this. Okay. Okay, that's all for today. I will not be taking more portions today. Since it was a first class, I want you to be adaptable with this syllabus. I hope the first class went well with everyone. I hope you're clear with what we did. And I hope it doesn't look too alien and too difficult for everyone, right? This subject looks comfortable and compatible. Yes. Now, how will you access the class notes? You have LMS. Everyone has it. If you do not have it, you can contact the team. They will guide you how you can access the portal. You access it and all your LMS for your subject F2, you'll have class notes, accessible once every class is over. So like right now class is over. So probably maybe by evening or by tomorrow morning, you will be able to access the notes. Okay. If anyone has any issues, anything, then please come to me without any hesitation. See you all day after tomorrow, same time. And be regular in the class. The ones who are not regular, I will not be taking your queries then, unless you have a reason for the same. Bye-bye. Thank you. Have a great day.